see if we are rocking and rolling. Yay. Do you have one? My comment didn't even make sense. Let's see, can I edit it? Spiritual wellness. Do you have a practice? Let's call it that, friends. So, there's been a lot of revelations for me over the last month. And I wanted to come in here because there's been parts of my life and parts of myself that I just haven't really shared. And I get to share that with you all. So it's really fascinating because the evolution of my wellness journey, which really wellness to me is healing. Wellness to me is vitality, it's aliveness, it's that life force energy. And I feel really connected to it with women because I am really starting to understand where that lives in our body, in our womb space, and how much of our intuition and creatrix outlet lives there. And unfortunately, we just live in a society that suppresses that just by design. It doesn't make anybody or anything wrong. And, I've been feeling this calling for a very long time and feeling like something was wrong with me or feeling like I needed to do the next program or do the next thing and just getting lost in the doing. And I had this big revelation that that is my way of creating lack of intimacy. So just getting lost in the doing and in like having somewhere to get to with like the next program, the next thing, the next achievement, the next, successful, whatever that looks like. And the reality is that when I look back at the unfolding of my life and the sorrows and the joys and the roller coaster of what it is to be a human on this planet, I've learned to welcome all of it. I've learned that the contrast of all of it is all on purpose. And I learned at a very young age, just going through traumatic events, losing someone very close to me as a child, and being in a place where I was with someone who was my best friend. She leaves in one car, I live in another, and that car gets in a car accident, and two of the three people die and transition from this earth. And I didn't really know at the time how to grieve. I didn't really know at the time what that looked like and what it is to be a being on this earth and to lose people and to feel like you've lost them forever. And I started to read books about immortality and reincarnation, and I started following different religions and understanding the principles of all of these different modalities and teachings that all have a very comprehensive and overarching and overlapping principles. And it helped me grieve losing somebody very close to me and just starting to be open to spirituality, open to different religions, open to why am I here? What am I doing? Am I just one little speck in this vast universe? And is there a reason why I'm here? Is there a deeper calling? And at the time, I was still too young to really understand it. So I used spirituality to help me through my grief. And then I kind of went back into like being a kid and being in college and doing all the fun things and figuring out who I am. And now I am leaning in more. I've created a lot of spaciousness. So since I became an entrepreneur, I have created a lot of space in order for me to be with my thoughts, to be with myself, to tune in and to connect to my higher self, connect to source. You can call it whatever you want. Um, but to me, it's like, I feel like the word God, a lot of people, there's like a negative connotation sometimes with the word God, because a lot of times people pray and they feel like, why are my prayers not answered? Or there's just a lot of polarity in different religions. I mean, there's wars that are created for different belief systems in terms of religion, and that's been happening for centuries and it's still happening. And so it's like, what I did was, I grew up Catholic and I have all my sacraments, went to Catholic school, felt very confused growing up in Catholicism, because I felt like there was a lot of judgment that I saw in the media and what I experienced, and that didn't sit well with me. So I pulled back and told myself, I'm not a religious person. I'm not a spiritual being. I'm just here. It's all good. I get to just love people. And then when I had that loss, I got to look at that again. And it was almost like this redefining of who I am and my sovereignty and my freedom and who I get to be and what I get to believe in. And nobody gets to take that away from me. And so when I stripped that down to the foundational level, I got to really look at all religions, and I got to look at what religions resonate with me. And I got to look at, like these teachings and these books and these amazing humans and people that stood for God, that stood for source, that were followers and teachers and led people to understanding what we're really doing here. And there's like a golden thread between all different religions. So, I mean, that was about 15 years ago. And I think what I'm getting at is, because I'm seeing it a lot now with politics, I'm seeing it a lot now with COVID. Hopefully I don't get flagged for saying that word, but it's like, we are sovereign beings. We get to choose. I will not be getting the COVID vaccine because I know my body. And I don't have a specific religion that speaks to me, but I am a spiritual being and I love people and I'm heart centered and I'm always coming, and not always, but I do my best to come from a place of integrity and non judgment, and to just be open to possibility and to just be open to the evolution of this planet. And the more that I shift my way of being and the more that I can just express myself, use my voice, not hide, share the principles that are working for me, share the modalities that are working for me, share the tools that are working for me. I mean, there's so many things that I do that I don't share with this community, and I don't want to hide anymore. And the more that I've created that spaciousness and time to tune in, I've become a lot more intuitive. Life has gotten easier for me. Things have simplified. Making money is easier for me. Generating money, generating relationship, not feeling like I have to carry other people's shit and their projections, and being able to say no, but with love in my heart, and being able to say yes to myself and no to others, and not feeling guilty about that. I mean, it's taken many years for me to stop my people pleasing and, to really start owning all parts of myself. And the spirituality piece has been extremely scary for me to open up about. And I believe that what I've learned and the tools that I've implemented and how I've been able to open up and expand in that way could potentially help this community. And there's it. Thank you, Dawn. Yes. Oh, we get to catch up. I know you're on my list. So, I feel like I'm very new at this. I have Dawn, for example, is an amazing healer. And to me, I just want to be able to be open and honest without creating polarity. I think that's what the world needs right now. I think we live in our pain body. Like there's so much anger, right? It's like all of that, like in your belly, like so much anger and need to be right. And I want to operate from a place of power, from my solar plexus and above, from a place in my heart where I can be a stand for other people and be a stand for really what the world gets to have, which is understanding and compassion and generosity and love and healing. And for all of us to be able to sit in a room and have conversations without being so triggered. And that is why I wanted to open up about my spiritual path and how it's completely shifted my relationship to myself, my relationship to those in my life, and how it's allowed me to just simplify my day to day and also just not be afraid. I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid of disease. I'm not afraid of terrorism. I'm not afraid. Absolutely. Do I want all of these things to go away? Of course, but I'm not afraid. It's like, how can I be in relationship with these things and not be afraid and not be so, just triggered by what it means to be a human in this world. And I'll just close with that. It's like my beliefs are, I believe that we chose to be here to feel and experience all of it. And you get to have the contrast, because if you don't know what it feels like to be in pain and suffering, then how could you possibly understand bliss? And how could you possibly understand, just this highest level of unconditional love? It's all on purpose. So I'll be sharing more about this. I just wanted to come in here. It's really important to me to just start coming in here and sharing and going live and being myself. And I'm just not afraid anymore to really use my voice. And yes, we are all healers though, Dawn. We are all healers, right? We all have power. It's just a matter of tuning in. But yes, through transmission, you are able to help us heal, right? It's just like empowerment. I can't empower anyone, right? I can enroll you to empower yourself. So with that, if you have any questions, let me know. And I started incorporating spiritual coaching into my business, and I've been doing it for over a year now, and most people don't even really know about it. It's kind of been underground, and it's time for me to start sharing because it's really helped a lot of people. All right, I love you so much. Let me know if you have any questions. Mwah.